right. Hi, everybody. I'm Elizabeth Johnson, and this is the We365 Youth Voices program. We're here today with some various participants who are going to talk about youth business and entrepreneurship and business and entrepreneurship for good in general in Louisville, Kentucky. So I have 5 participants today, and they're going to introduce themselves. So Miles, do you want to go ahead and start?
Yes. So my name is Miles McGinnis. I'll be a senior next year at South Oldham High School, and pretty much my, business project that I've been working on with a few friends of mine is to create a website that gives youth the opportunity to seek out business opportunities, such as internships, summer programs, like a list of shadows and a list of clients that work in like fields such as finance, accounting, sales, all that stuff. Pretty much how I guess I came about wanting to do something like this was I think the end of my sophomore year. That was kind of when I decided that I wanted to pursue business as like something I want to do in college and as a career. And so I wanted to, look at programs that could help me learn more about this. And a few things that I found were a list of summer programs that I went and attended. One was at the University of Kentucky, which was a finance program, and then another one at Indiana University in Bloomington, which was an international business program that I attended. But these programs really helped me network and find a list of people who can help me later down the road when I get to college and out of school. But these opportunities were kind of hard to find, so I want to help students who are interested in these fields kind of make it easier for them to find and help them help them learn more about that track.
For sure. That's awesome. Elif, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Elif Ozark-Olu. I just graduated from DuPont Manual High School, where I was in the Math Science Technology program. And this fall, I'll be heading off to Columbia University to study biomedical engineering and hopefully pursue a minor in entrepreneurship or business. I have a skincare natural cosmetics company called Elif Cosmetics that I started a year ago, but started working on really about 4 years ago. So I started out really struggling with my skin, which I know is such a common struggle many, especially teens, go through. And I think that it started with me just looking up DIY remedies online, wanting to just help my skin. And I started sharing with friends and family, and that led me to create a small business out of it. What started in my kitchen with me making homemade recipes eventually turned into me working with a natural cosmetics producer in Turkey last summer to design a line of facial cleansers and bath bombs that are completely natural and handmade. And so now I have an online shop, and last year I had a couple pop-up shops at the local malls that I've been lucky enough to work at to get my products out there. So I'm hoping to continue this, to grow it, and especially in the future by studying biotechnology, hopefully get into more biological products to see what skincare can become in the future.
That's super cool as well. Albert, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, good evening. I'm Albert Shoemake. I graduated from high school at Ballard High School in the year 2000. So I guess I will be the elder on this call. I am the executive director of the River City Drum Corps Cultural Arts Institute here in Louisville. And I am an artist. Um, I was introduced to the arts at the Parkland Boys and Girls Club when I was 8 years old by the director of the Boys and Girls Club, who was also the founder of the Drum Corps. And, he introduced me to so many entrepreneurs and artists who actually made a living off of their art. And he planted the seed in me to be able to be somebody who was confident in seeing something and finding out how to make it and making things good enough to where people want to buy them. So not only do I teach music and work with youth, but I sew, I crochet, I paint, I do visual art, I DJ, and all of these things are what contributes to my livelihood, my finance, my comfort of living. And it was all based off of a seed that was planted when I was a kid, an 8-year-old, who someone saw potential in, and wanted to make sure that my ceiling was not lowered because of the things going on in my neighborhood and the things going on in popular culture. He wanted me to understand the value of creativity, the value of entrepreneurship, and the value of just being the type of person that will go and get it, even the type of person that can make a way out of no way. So I think as entrepreneurs, that's what we all learn to do, and that's how I got to this call. So thank you.
Yeah, and I think it's super important to have a mentor like that that kind of tells you that you can do it no matter how much you doubt yourself. And then finally, we'll have Katie and Haley introduce themselves.
I'm Katie Vonderhaar.
And I'm Haley Hertzman.
And we started our company Ula Lemon about 2 years ago.
Yes. We're going to be freshmen this year at Kentucky Country Day School. So we started Ula Lemon, and it all started when we were in a competition called Lemonade Day. And it teaches kids how to run their own business, but through a lemonade stand. And Katie and I joined because we had been doing lemonade stands previously just for fun in our neighborhood. And we went on to winning the Louisville Lemonade Day and then the National Lemonade Day.
Yes, so we started, we started the theme of Ula Lemon, kind of a lemon theme because of Lemonade Day, and we just kind of sell cute, fun, trendy products and accessories.
That is very cool and really awesome. Congratulations on winning National Lemonade Day. That's a big thing. So now we're going to go ahead and get into the questions. So the first question that I wanted to ask you all is, why do you think it's important that youth become involved in business at an early age and that they have access to helpful mentors? And I think Albert really touched on this. So we'll go ahead and let him start by answering this question.
I think that youth should be connected to entrepreneurship to reverse this cycle of consumerism that is popularized in American culture. If you were a kid growing up in the inner city or the ghetto or, west of Ninth in Louisville, then there are so many limited options that you have. We don't have grocery stores as plentiful as they do in St. Matthews or in Okolona or wherever you go outside of west of Ninth. So kids need to learn that the things that they see on television and the personalities that they see and that they become so akin to and want to be like, they can actually be them. My mentor, Mr. Ed White, saw in me that I was not the type of student that was going to be interested in playing football or doing any type of sports. I was always making friendship bracelets or keychains or something out of popsicle sticks or soda bottles, whatever it was. My hands were always moving. And he saw in me some similarities that he had to himself as a young man. And so his goal was to make sure that I didn't become disenfranchised from my creativity. So instead of putting me in places where I would have to conform to whether that be to play basketball or football or any of the things that I was not interested in, he made sure that at the Boys and Girls Club, there were equal opportunities for arts and creative things as there were for sports and entertainment. So him doing that in me allowed me to understand that if I have an idea, I can make it come to life. And my ideas have been able to provide for me. And I want the students that I work with to understand that they might be privileged. They might be, in a position where their parents can buy them nice things, tennis shoes. Most children or a lot of young people have cell phones and video games and laptop computers and televisions in their room. And they need to understand that those things can be tools as well. If a young lady is in my program and she can manipulate Instagram filters and create captions to where, she can generate buzz on her page, then what if she had access to Photoshop and could learn how to actually be a graphic designer? Or if a kid is good at bleaching clothes or altering things, then they can actually become designers. So, as as a person who is in a leadership position, it's my goal and my duty to make sure that I return the favor for the students that I deal with the way that Mr. White did, and that really kind of creates this reciprocal service and mentorship because Mr. White planted a seed in me 30 years ago, and now I'm starting to see it come to life, and it's all because of the time and attention that he put into me. So, if we want to see change in the world, we have to invest in the youth because at a certain age, kids have already learned to make their own decisions and are on their own path. But while they're in that stage where they are influenceable and coachable, I think we should introduce them to as many things as they can take in so they can have the choice to pick and choose.
For sure. And I think it's really important to have somebody like that who can kind of identify something that you're good at and turn it into a career or a job. And I think that it's really interesting to hear that from your point of view, specifically because you are older than the rest of us, and you probably do have more of a career than the rest of us. And you can really speak to how having a mentor at such a young age helped you.
Yes.
Miles, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, mentorship is a choice. The person who has the skills has to extend their hand so that somebody can follow them. And I was blessed to have somebody who made a choice to seek me out and make sure that I got what I needed. And so, as an adult, we have to make those decisions and be very intentional about the children that we see that we can influence because you never know what that little bit of attention will do for a young person. And the seeds that you plant at an early age, grow into hopefully oak trees that, stand the test of time. And that's why mentorship is so important.
For sure. Miles, you spoke about your program and helping people, helping youth match with mentors or people that they can shadow. Do you want to speak a little bit to why you think it's important that youth become involved in business at an early age and have access to helpful mentors?
Well, to me, business isn't just the common careers or common markets such as finance, sales, accounting, all of those things. Business is a lifestyle. So, like when I'm thinking of business, I want to help people learn to network and communicate because in order to gain something of value. So, business is something that you take with you all of your life. And so the more that you are able to learn and obtain that early on, it's just going to help you become more successful in whatever you do in life. Uh, but in order to learn that, I feel that you must have some sort of mentor to be able to help you in that type of way. And I do feel that when you're having a mentor, that one of the things that I feel that is so valuable is that the mentor is oftentimes much older than you are, so they've gone through a lot of obstacles and a lot of things in life that they've suffered through. And when you have that suffering, when you have those obstacles, there's lessons in that. And to be able to sit down and to learn those lessons from that mentor, you don't have to go through those obstacles in life. So you kind of have a shortcut. But in order to have a mentor, you have to want it and you have to seek it. But being in business and being involved in business helps you create those mentors and helps you network in order to obtain those.
For sure. And having that access to that advice and that experience is very useful. Elif, do you want to speak to having a mentor? I don't know if you had a mentor in particular, but or just generally why you should become more involved in business at an early age like you did.
Absolutely. I think that as someone who comes from a science background, it's really, really valuable to me to see what types of skills can be attained through experience in business. I think that skills in business go beyond the world of business. They extend into your relationships with the people in your life, with yourself, and the work that you do. So I completely agree. I think that it's so valuable for youth to learn that because they are so new to the world. It's their formative years. They're becoming who they're going to become in their adult years. And I think that the more opportunities you not only are presented, but present for yourself and pursue for yourself, the more you can grow. And I really believe that, especially as a generation of change and one that's fighting to make a change in the world and to educate ourselves, those types of values of character, of leadership, of being passionate about something and having the discipline to pursue it, and have patience with that, those go hand in hand with skills in business. And especially coming from a sales perspective for marketing, which is what I'm in, I think that it's so important to understand that the world of business is the world of people. You're dealing with people, you're dealing with products for people. And so the more that you can understand them and learn how to communicate and develop relationships with them, I think you're going to be better off in your business, but also in your life.
For sure. And that makes a lot of sense. Starting early on will help you, not only with networking, but also with advice and things like that. As it did for you. As you said, you started working on your company 4 years ago and launched it a year ago, which is very early compared to most people who are starting a business. Katie and Haley, you're even earlier than Elif, as you're just going into freshman year and you already have your business started. So why do you think that it's important that youth become involved in business and entrepreneurship at an early age?
I think it's really important that youth learn a lot of the business basics at a young age, because a lot of the things, a lot of the things that you face as an adult, you learn a lot from being taught a bunch of business basics and early lessons.
Yeah, I also think it's good to have a mentor because you can follow in their footsteps. They're older, they've gone through definitely more business lessons than you have. My mentor is my dad. He's an entrepreneur. I've learned a lot from him. He's taught me a lot and he's really helped with our business. So I really think having a mentor is really helpful when you're a young entrepreneur too.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it must be useful having a mentor that's so close to you and is available all the time to ask questions of. So the next question I have for you all is, how can we institute programs to encourage students to learn about business and entrepreneurship, specifically for communities that are less privileged, and for those youth who may not have an opportunity to start a business or become entrepreneurs in the future? So if Miles wants to go ahead and start on to speak about that, since he's already working on a program about it, that'd be great.
Well, I think it starts at the high school level, and really, I would say starting with, allowing to enter more programs in the high schools. And how you start with that is you would go to the state, and in my opinion, you would go to the state government, you would ask for more funding in public schools, because I feel that in a lot of areas, the public schools are like slowly, their funding is getting cut. And when the funding is getting cut, what's the first thing to go? It's all the extra liberal arts programs. And I would consider, business programs and stuff like that that are in schools are kind of a part of the liberal arts. And so you don't really see a lot of those anymore. And so I would encourage our government to really get involved in this step up and provide more funding for our high schools so that they're able to really build up these programs and get more students involved in these communities, because I do feel that they are kind of uninformed and do not have the educational means to kind of learn about it. And so if we are able to provide more funding to our schools, I feel like it would definitely improve.
For sure. And that's something, liberal arts programs like that are something that are so necessary and important, but are yet so underappreciated and are typically the first things to be cut, which is very, very sad. But I completely agree with you. Elif, do you have any ideas on this topic?
Yeah, I think that my experience with programs like Louisville Girls Leadership and the We Day Youth Board have really shown me that empowerment and education, especially for young students, is so valuable and helps create a new world for them and helps them see their own world and the possibilities in a completely new perspective. Especially coming from underprivileged communities, I think that it's so important that children especially understand how valuable their ideas are and their words are. And I think that's the type of motivation and empowerment that can lead them into business and developing those very valuable experiences and skills from that. I, have been lucky enough to be able to pursue those types of programs where I was taught that, especially as a young woman, I'm, worthy of speaking my mind and standing up for what I believe in. And that's really pushed me to be able to stand on my own and do the things I care about and am passionate about. So I think that the first step to helping kids who may not be willing to or believe in themselves enough to go into business or go into anything where they, stand up for what they're passionate in is really just focusing on these programs that are so valuable throughout Louisville and throughout the world, really form those great skills and ideas in children.
For sure. And speaking to your experience, that's really helpful, I think, to have somebody that, or a program that's instituted in a community that you can fall back on and help ask for advice, just like having a mentor is. Albert, do you want to speak a little bit to how we can institute programs for youth?
I think a great way for programs for youth and entrepreneurship need to be implemented from a city government level. I think that there are powers that be that, as we are in this social political climate of Black Lives Matter, of the things that are going on in the country with the racial unrest and the cultural divide that we're seeing in the country. In a lot of inner city neighborhoods, the businesses that are in those neighborhoods are not uh, owned or ran by people from that actual community. Whether it be people from other countries who have started businesses or people from other neighborhoods who see the value in having something in a specific neighborhood, while a lot of people who come from these neighborhoods are so much interested in leveling up and getting out of their neighborhood because of the uh, all of the factors that contribute to the negative portrayal of the neighborhood or the tone that is in the neighborhood. When I was growing up, there was a program called the Neighborhood Youth Board, and that was an opportunity for young people to work in community centers, have a summer job, not have to go to McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's and work fast food or work in the mall, and that allowed some of us to turn into student leaders. That allowed many of my peers and contemporaries to go to college and get an education and then become contributing members to society. But that still, perpetuates the cycle of not having ownership. So if we put programs into place that teach, because everybody does not have parents who are at home who can model um, what it is to learn to run a business, what it means to, how do you file your taxes, what can you write off, what are the actual, perks of owning a business. These are things that are, hidden jewels to certain people. And we have the people who have the information and the privilege and the advantages need to um, do their best to step down and extend the olive branch so that the people that need it can gain access. And I think that begins with compassion. We have to understand that there are people who are not receiving the same skills, and until we can even the playing field, it's going to be unfair. And children who miss out, you know, I gained my entrepreneurship because I saw a lady in my neighborhood who sold candy and sodas and bags of chips out of her house. She ran the local, we called it the Candy Lady. That's like a little convenience store that is on your block, so you don't have to go to the corner store to get blow pops and Doritos, a canned soda or something like that. So then through that, you say, okay, there's always traffic here. I wanna do that. So then I would go to Sam's and I could buy a box of blow pops and I could take the blow pops, and then it was okay. This box of blow pops that I bought for $10, I could sell the blow pops a quarter a piece and make a profit. But if you don't teach somebody that, or they're not able to see that, then kids will never know. Now there are things like junior achievement that exist to teach those type of things, and there are programs that are sprinkled into these community centers and neighborhoods. But there needs to be an initiative that is pushed from the top down so that um, kids can learn the valuable skill of entrepreneurship and how to work amongst each other and create something for themselves.
For sure, I completely agree, and I do think that a step to making everything more equal would definitely start with the city government, because there is so much like systemic inequality.
And I also can speak from a college educated person who came out of my neighborhood. It's also our responsibility. It's my responsibility to come back to my neighborhood and model those things. And my contemporaries, they have to do the same thing because, we don't do this alone.
For sure, completely agreed. Haley and Katie, do you want to speak quickly to programs that you think, or how we can institute programs to encourage business and entrepreneurship in youth, specifically surrounding your Lemonade Day program that you took part in?
Yes, Lemonade Day is really, their organization is really good with targeting to kids maybe who don't have as many resources or more underprivileged. They actually send everyone who participates in Lemonade Day a handbook, and in the book it has all these lessons about running a business, from like financial to advertising to where you should put it, how you should sell. So I think Lemonade Day really has an impact on kids and helps them believe in themselves, even if they don't have the resources that maybe many other kids do. So.
Right. I think it's important that we spread the word about organizations like Lemonade Day, because even if you don't have access to a great mentor, their workbook, which provides a step-by-step on how to run a business and the fill out business plan, can be your mentor. So I think they do a really great job at teaching everyone.
For sure, and we definitely need to spread the word on those businesses and those programs. Because we are running out of time, we're going to go ahead and skip to the last question. So do you guys have any advice for youth looking to start their own business as entrepreneurs, or as just people who have been interested in business since a young age? And we'll go ahead and start with Miles on that question.
I have two answers to this question, but I'll be quick. The first one is, if you can, I would encourage you guys to go out in the real world and to work a job, just to see how a legitimate business works, and try to learn how, from the employees to the managers to the actual owner, then to the franchisee. Just learn how it works and try to take notes as you go along. And it also allows you to have a respect for businesses, because there's a lot of work that goes into it. But also know that before business, it's passion. So you have to enjoy what you do. So before you do anything, just make sure that you actually spend a decent amount of time making sure that that is what you want to spend your time doing. Because time is delicate. There's not a lot of it. So make sure that that's the direction that you want to go.
For sure, and that's super important. Haley and Katie, do you guys want to give us a little bit of advice for youth?
Yes, I think kids should definitely believe in themselves, have a business that they're passionate about, as Miles said. I also think, since we're business partners, we don't always get along. We sometimes don't agree on things, but at the end, we come together, decide on, what's right, what will work for our business, what our customers will like. It's not always what we like, but, and we just want to spread joy throughout our community.
Right. And I also think it's a great idea to start with a business plan. It really helps to be organized by putting out the name, what charities you want to support, and what you're going to sell, because it kind of gives you some guidelines when you're actually starting and running your business.
For sure, and having that organization is extremely important. Albert, do you want to give some advice to youth?
My advice to any young person that wants to be an entrepreneur or has any type of dreams or goals is to be fearless and to try things. Youth afford you the opportunity to make mistakes and try again. And so you should be very much energetic and anxious to get out those dreams and create the things that are in your mind. Also, you know, if a mentor is not seeking you out, do the due diligence and find somebody who is in your field or doing the things that you want to do and just pull on their coattail. Ask for help. Say what you need. And until someone turns you away or does not, or says they're not going to help you, you keep on knocking on doors until you get what you need.
For sure, and having that initiative is really important, along with passion and organization, and kind of really knowing the internal pieces of a business in order to more appreciate it. Having initiative is what starts all of that, and being persistent. Elif, do you want to end us off and give some advice to youth interested in business?
Absolutely. Well, I agree with everything said so far. I'm taking notes. This is great advice, but I think that it's so important, especially with even with inequality of resources. It's so important to just seek out any resources possible to educate yourself. Especially like someone like me who came from a family who didn't really know much about business or this world. There's so many resources out there that you can pursue to educate yourself if that's what you want to go in. And then I would also say to find a balance between being careful and approaching things with a plan and being very rational and logical with your decisions, but also having a drive and living it and pursuing whatever it is you're building, whatever it is you're creating with that drive and that passion and that energy, because sometimes you just got to go for it and just be resilient and adaptable and just keep the ball rolling.
For sure, 100% agreed. I want to thank you all for joining me, and it has been a great panel, so thank you so much.